Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got Papa Pixelet playing the Tier 9 Royal Navy heavy cruiser Drake, and pretty strong game. I watching this game, I couldn't help feeling at certain times that there were opportunities that Papa may have missed by playing very cautiously, but I have to say, I think it was really the smart play, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we go forward. I may not touch on it in any particular detail, but he stays a long way away, makes use of range to buy himself opportunity to maneuver away from incoming shells. Plays a really smart game, and the more I watched it, the more I realized how smart it was, and that my inclination was, no, get in there, mix it up a little bit more, but no, he definitely played this the right way, and you can't argue with the results. All right, so a little bit of information about Drake. If you're unfamiliar, I'll read you some information that's here on the Warships Wiki about the Drake. After the start of World War II, Winston Churchill ordered the development of a new heavy cruiser armed with 234 millimeter guns. A design for a 21,500-ton cruiser featuring triple-gun turrets. 3 triple-gun turrets was proposed. As Britain was in need of many ships, albeit inferior ones in terms of their combat qualities, the project's implementation was postponed. Now, the 234s, it's a big step up from what you have earlier in this line, and they hit pretty hard. I actually have had some fun playing this ship, but it is not what I would consider a great cruiser. You're really just, in my opinion, you're enduring it like so many other Tier 9s to get to the Goliath at Tier 10. So the 234s, you've got 3 turrets, each turret with 3 barrels for 9 total guns, base reload of 18 seconds, 180-degree turn time on the turrets of 18 seconds. Firing range base is only 14.45 kilometers. Now you can see on the minimap there that our hero, Papa Pixelet, he has done a little something about that. So he's got a range of 18.4 kilometers. The maximum HE shell damage is 3,850 with a 24% fire chance. Initial HE shell velocity of 841 meters per second. The AP shells do a maximum damage of 5,750 with an initial AP shell velocity of the same 841 meters per second. Secondaries are really not anything to talk about. The torpedoes, you've got 2 racks, they're quad racks. The reload time base is 96 seconds, and they are 533 millimeter MKs that do 16,767 maximum damage with a torpedo speed of 62 knots and a total range of about 10 kilometers. I don't know that he's going to get a shot on the roof before somebody finishes him off. Might have, but no, the shells wouldn't have even gotten there before the Bismarck finished him. So some nice HE smashing there on the Napoli over the edges of 2 islands. Pay close attention to the positioning, because in my opinion, Papa does a pretty darn good job of using the islands to keep him dark while he finds targets to put HE shells on. Now, I'm going to read you some more from the World of Warships Wiki. I'm going to tell you the pros and the cons, and I'm also going to read kind of the center paragraphs. It'll just take a couple minutes. This game, well, it's a fairly long one. I don't want to give you the impression it's boring, because it's not. It's a different play style than you may be accustomed to. As Papa puts shots over another island trying to catch the Takao. Drake is the Tier 9 British heavy cruiser for the tech tree, being the link between the Tier 8 Albemarle and the end of the line, the Tier 10 Goliath. Over her predecessor, Drake offers an improved main battery with an increase in caliber and hitting power, while at the same time trading reload speed. With 18.5 second stock reload time, Drake is on par with the same tier super cruiser Kronstadt in terms of loading speed. However, while the fire rate may seem like a burden, the shells themselves are among the best at the tier. High alpha damage, and high fire chance on her HE shells, coupled with improved penetration capabilities that let her penetrate up to 58 millimeters of armor, give Drake a nasty toot that no other surface ship type wants to be hit with. Furthermore, her AP penetration is among the highest of Tech Tree cruisers at that tier, making those shells a valid choice against any target at a lot of ranges should they choose to show Drake their side. With an improved repair ability, and not taking over the odd citadel shape of her predecessor, Drake can withstand incoming AP shells better than Albemarle. However, this requires her to be at an angle when being shot at by battleship caliber guns. It should be noted that despite the more advantageous shape, the citadel still raises well above the waterline while extending over a significant length of the ship, so showing broadside can turn into an instant trip back to port. And you'll see that Papa does a pretty darn good job of angling and using his speed and maneuverability as well as the range from target as we have a very tense moment here of nearly going face first into the island, but not quite. We didn't have a beach party bingo happen, but still detected and broadside to potentially some big shells. Taking a wild guess about where the Amagi might come around the corner.
Torpedoes to port.
Okay. With Drake's excellent concealment figures and her impressive healing skills, Drake should be played in the open water, keeping an eye on her surroundings to not receive flanking shots while mercilessly whittling down opponents with her hard-hitting shells. If there is a need to, the player can disengage quickly to regenerate hit points and relocate. The ship does have heal down there. Aircraft carriers, while losing parts of their strike wave in the process, can and will pose a threat to Drake. Investing into AA skills can mitigate this, but that will cost points that could be invested elsewhere, as
torpedoes to starboard.
Nicely done on an invisible target. But that will cost points that could be invested elsewhere. Priority targets should always be destroyers, as the hard-hitting HE shells will cause tremendous damage to both their hit points and their modules. Well, we've got Trump and we've got Udaloy still here in the game, as well as the Palau, but opportunities to see those things are going to be probably pretty limited. Right now, you've got the friendly U-4501 squaring off with the red Palau, and I think the Palau is probably backed up by the Trump. Marlborough is directly south of Papa's position here. And that airstrike means Trump is farther north than we find on the last known position indicator. Taking a shot before it gets around the island. Might be a little behind the Palau. Oh no, it wasn't. 6 pens and finishes off the Palau from quite some range. Nice shot. Now shots on the Genon. I might have switched to AP here, but the HE is going to hit hard anyway. Almost 5,000 damage. Genon stays nose in, and our hero has to turn inside Marlborough, which is always so tense. Marlborough is going to get sunk here. Now Genon using his smoke means that our hero gets to go dark. He's going to put the torpedoes... Oh, just as he pulls the trigger on the torpedoes, Genon comes out of the smoke. Now AP, I probably would have gone AP there, but AP might have been overpens on Genon. Genon's pretty lightly armored. Can get another shot here. He can. And this HE, as mentioned a minute ago, does hit really hard. Now, just as I say that, 879. Genon just pouring out a flood of shells. That line's fun to play too for different reasons. Okay, now the World of Warships wiki, as Papa continues to create some distance and hoping to get one more shot on Genon. I think he could have. finish him off here. Shot away. As he continues to move farther away, I'm sure, to avoid taking a big shot from Amagi. Now, we haven't seen where Amagi's guns are pointed, but I'm sure they're going to be pointed this way very soon. So, unable to finish off the Genon, but a valiant attempt. And obviously, Genon is a player who's contributed a lot to his team. As you see, a 6,354 HP shot from the Drake's 234 HE. Okay, so the pros. Good concealment, 10.4 kilometers when applying the Captain Skill module and camo. Hard-hitting HE shells with high penetration and fire chance. AP shells have high penetration values. Decent AA protection, which we all know is a complete joke in the current meta, the way things are with CVs. Now the cons. Main battery range of 15.9 kilometers leaves something to be desired. That's kind of an understatement. Citadel extends noticeably above the waterline and runs from the A turret back to the C turret, so most of the ship is Citadel. Poor firing angles, especially with her C turret, so it is a pretty good kiting ship, and you're going to probably need to be doing a lot of that because you can kite and bring your front guns around. It looks like Amagi's guns are pointed elsewhere. You can see it just put off a shot somewhere else. So our hero is going to be able to get all guns on the Amagi. And if you're counting, that is fire number 10. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the damage to... Oh! I know Papa well enough to know he was probably grinding his teeth when that torpedo stopped about 100 yards short of the Amagi, because that looked like a certain hit. So, sitting at 11 kilometers, more or less, and showing some side, turning in, and this is the shot on the way. Takes a little bit of damage, and decides to close the distance rather than continue to run, keeping his nose in. And you'll notice he's not pointing his nose directly at the Amagi for most of the time. Seeing the Genon again, he decides maybe I can finish it this time. Going directly nose in against a battleship can often lead to them shooting right through your nose. Ouch, there's a big shot from Amagi, but I think Amagi is done for here.
The enemy battleship destroyed.
And Papa floods out the Amagi. Can't quite get another shot on the Genon before it goes dark. Gets the spotter up, extends his range, and goes to work on Montana from 17 kilometers out. Tromp is sending out the airstrikes, and that is a threat if the Tromp player knows what he's doing. And that was really close. So I told you I would do some comparison here. When we look at tier 9s, cruisers, so basically all of the tier 9 cruisers, including the premiums, etc., where does the Drake fall? Well, I'm looking right now, and in terms of its AP DPM, it comes in 5th. No, take that back. Oh, it's 5th from the bottom. So at tier 9, the AP DPM on the Neptune, which comes in at the top, Neptune's 480,000, and on the Drake is 172,500. So it is, out of all of the ones that are in the ship school here, it's going to just be able to avoid these torps. Drake comes in number 32 out of 36 in terms of AP damage. HE damage, take a look at that. HE damage, a little better, but not much. Drake comes in 23 out of 30, however many, uh, with HE DPM of
Ends in
114,750.
5 minutes.
So you can land some pretty good shots with this thing, but you're not going to be able to land them in quick succession very often, and it's very tough to accrue big damage numbers. Now, our hero is kind of beating the odds. He's been sticking with HE pretty much exclusively. He's at 139,000 damage right now. And, that's with the help of a few torpedoes and 11 fires. Let's take a look at the, bear with me while I switch this over. The torpedoes. Just looking for it here on the list, and it's down toward the bottom. Torpedo DPM, 83,833. It does have 10 kilometers of range, but that's certainly not going to win any awards. You've got things like Ibuki that are at almost 180,000 in terms of torpedo DPM. So why tell you all of these things? Because it makes this performance even more outstanding. Drake is a very middling Tier 9 cruiser. If used effectively, it can create some pretty nice results, as you can see here. But it's work. It's like carrying bags of cement to have a good game in this thing. There are Tier 9 cruisers that are, I think it's fair to say, for most people, much easier to get better results from. Now, Genon is way out there, but heading this way as Salmon is trying so hard to secure the cap, and Papa is just doing his best to avoid a shot from the airstrikes while he lines up guns on the Genon.
Fire!
And it's a question of whether the Salmon torpedoes or the HE shells are going to do the job. Salmon torpedoes arrive first. But either way, this game has gone from looking much more suspect to looking pretty good for the green team. 4,192 HP remain on the Trump as Papa gets a shot away. Almost finishes the job. Pretty long reload. I think I might be slowing down here a little bit, but I think that's going to do the job. Then we'll take a look at the numbers. Allow me to say, Papa, great game. That's kill number 3, finishing on the Trump. And some really solid numbers. Total of 143,517 damage, 101 shell hits, 3 torpedo hits, shot down a couple of aircraft on those Trump airstrikes, picked up a dreadnought, topped the scoreboard with 2,690 base XP. The nearest on his team was 1,785. Talk about a carry. Way to go. Damage on a Magi Trump, Palau, Jinan, Montana, Rune, etc. We'll take a look here on the Napoli. Breaking down the damage, the HE shells just shy of 80,000, torpedoes just shy of 39,000, fires 21,000, floods 3,100 for that total of 143,000. Sank 3 ships, 3.8 million potential damage. So he was definitely in the thick of it, and some really nice XP totals. Great game, Papa. Thank you very much for sending this replay to me. I know it's been a while since you sent it. I hadn't forgotten it. Those of you joining me, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I hope you will like and subscribe. Maybe tell a friend to come check it out. And I'll see you next time.